Good Tavach, everybody. This is Zera Shimshon and Tes Vav Tavis, the 15th of Tavis, and reading from Parshat Vayechi and Kapitel Hey, and wish everybody a good week and a Mazel Tov. There's a famous Gemara here. It says, the pasuk says, "V'asisai madim chesed ve'emes," and I will do with you chesed and emes. And it's a very famous Rashi, and everybody knows. It says chesed ve'emes. It's chesed shoisim imamesim. This is the chesed that you do with the dead people. Imhu chesed shalemes she'ena mitzapa l'tashlum gumul, because you're not expecting any repayment from this dead person. So the question in Zera Shimshon poses is chesed higshu amiforshim. Shahari Rashi atzmei kasav the common Rashi himself writes later on the pasuk memches chavtes chavbeis ani nosati lecha shchem echad alechecha. I placed you one level, or we'll call one shoulder over your brothers, because you're engaged in burying me, which means burying Yaakov. And I'm giving you a nachla shetikover ba, in order that you should be buried there. Ad kan l'shayna. That's the end of Rashi there. So therefore, he is getting paid to do something for the dead person. Well, of course, Yaakov wasn't dead yet, but he will be dead, right? Shahari shilem le'gemulei shenasan le'chanachale. He gave him a special extra portion in Eretz Yisrael. Ve'ayin berei. And the Yafet Torah, I don't know, I didn't have them, so I don't know what they say, but you can look it up. The only thing Yaakov commanded was that he shouldn't be buried in Egypt, and there's reasons for that. But Yosef ratza lahaisif ala mitzvah, Yosef really wanted to do the mitzvah very badly and to bury Yaakov himself. Like it says later in the whole Parshat that he begged him, he swore to Yaakov that he wouldn't bury him in Egypt, and then he went and begged from Paro that he may take an oath and he would be able to bury him in Eretz Yisrael. The neged mashi hivticha shelo yikbaru b'Mitzrayim, and opposite what he promised him he wouldn't bury him in Egypt. Zehaya chesed shalemes. So if that was the chesed shalem, what the kindness you can do with somebody that's being buried, that he would not be able to repay you. When Yaakov was at the end of his life, and when he saw in Ruach HaKodesh what was going to be, Namar says, he said, I'm dead. I'm going to die, literally. And God will be with you. And God will return you to the land of your forefathers, which is, of course, Eretz Canaan, Eretz Yisrael. And he saw Ruach HaKodesh that Yosef would be engaged in burying Yaakov. Then he said to him, I'm giving you one extra portion over your brothers. In order that you will, I know that you will be engaged in burying me, in order to elevate my honor. So I will give you this extra Shechem, right, which is where Yosef is buried in Shechem, over your brothers. Like it says in Midrash Beishis Rabbah, the Gemara in Perakama de Saita, it says there in Daf Yud Gimel Amud Beis, Shelafisha ganvu mishchem, since his brothers stole him away from Shechem, that's where they were seeing. That's where they were. They put him in the pit. So they were obligated to bring him back to Shechem. And that was fitting to give to Yosef completely. He should be buried in his nachal, in his portion. Shahari Heshiv Eschem Mashma. What does it mean? They returned them. It's mashma shekol yitbanav yachzru le'eretz Yisrael. All of his children returned with him to Eretz Yisrael, k'sheyifkod es Yisrael, when the Jewish people will be redeemed. And after, when they went out of Egypt, everybody that was died in Mitzrayim, all the brothers died in Mitzrayim, they would be taken out of Mitzrayim with Yosef. And that's really what happened. So all the brothers, all of their bodies were disinterred and brought back with Yosef back to Eretz Yisrael to be buried. Shomer Chazal, like Moshe Rabbah says, Moshe ha'alam miMitzrayim. Moshe elevated all of them from Egypt, like it says, Vayikach Moshe es atzmais Yosef imoy. Moshe took the bones of Yosef with him. Okay, back to Eretz Yisrael. Why was Yosef privileged that Moshe Rabbeinu himself took the bones of Yosef back to Eretz Yisrael? Because Yosef was privileged in the bones of his father to elevate him back up to Eretz Yisrael. And the skula of the Zera Shimshon is from the second year, because I couldn't find one from the first year of the Zera Shimshon from Menachem Seltzer. And he says, while we're on the topic of using your words correctly, I still remember when Rabbi Nachman Seltzer wrote that first story about the Zera Shimshon in the Hamodia over 10 years ago. He recalls Rabbi David Rosen from Monsey. The story that first appeared was a tantalizing mix of segula and the importance of learning, and how a sefer almost no one knew had saved a man's life. After reading this story, I got in touch with a friend of mine who had been marrying for 6 years without children, and sent him a copy of Rabbi Seltzer's beautiful and almost hard to believe article advising him to begin a seder in the Zera Shimshon. Somehow I felt there was something reliable and safe about the kalach of that special tzaddik who was barely remembered. So who would know about the Zera Shimshon? I had a feeling that people who followed his advice would find themselves pleasantly surprised when their prayers were answered. At the time that the first article was published in the Hamodia, it was virtually impossible to obtain a copy of the Zera Shimshon. It was out of print. My friend went from Seforim store to Seforim store asking whether they had it in stock, only to be disappointed time and time again. Not only did the stores not have the sefer in stock, many of them never even heard of it in the first place. Eventually, he heard about Rav Naftali Eli Melech Vagshal Shlita from Williamsburg, the Rav of the Apt dynasty, the Hor Shamayim, who had invested exceptional effort in the publication of the Sefer and merited seeing huge Yeshuas. Rav Rakshal still had copies of the Sefer, and my friend immediately purchased a set of Zera Shimshon. A year later, he called me up and full of wonder to let me know that his wife had given birth to a son. I want to thank you for the incredible eitzah you gave me. I'm just happy that I was able to help, I replied. I thrilled at the turn of events where a couple who had been married for so long without children were now blessed with a baby of their own. Recently I remembered this story. Everything has changed since those early years when no one knew about the Zera Shimshon. Nowadays the Zera Shimshon's fame has spread throughout the world with a wide array of stories being heard from every direction. Stories of Yeshuas of every kind, be it with shidduchim, children, health, shalom bayis, or parnasa. And that was all before the Sefer was published in English. When I saw the English version written by Rabbi Nachman Seltzer in conjunction with his good friends Rabbi Yomin Pashkes and Rabbi Yisrael Zilberberg, I knew that they had taken the Zera Shimshon's final request to another level completely. The English version was filled with beautiful pearls culled from the pages of the Sefer, translated from the original language in clear and pleasant pen. And I knew that so many thousands of people who had previously been unable to understand the Zera Shimshon would now be able to partake of this beautiful Torah. When I saw the new Sefer, I said to myself that it was time to speak out about what had been accomplished by Rabbi Seltzer and his local partners, his loyal partners, for the schus of the public. It was time to talk about the fact that the author merited serving as a shliach ne'aman, a worthy and loyal emissary, and as a catalyst not only for the story of my friend, but for thousands of other people around the globe who continue to see and experience miracles of their own every single day by virtue of their newfound knowledge of this wonderful sefer. May the Ribbono Shel Olam continue to be with them as they continue to bring Klal Yisrael an abundance of brachas and yeshuas, and may Hashem repay them with yeshuas of their own, and may everybody have their own personal yeshuas for learning the sefer Zera Shimshon. Have a wonderful week.